You're live.
Good evening. Welcome to the January 9th Heritage Commission meeting. Calling the meeting to order, and we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Roll call, start with Steve.
Steve Gannon, Selectman's Rep.
Carl Frank, Vice Chair.
Marion Colby, Chairman.
Stephen Callowell.
Gail Barringer.
Okay. We did not receive the minutes for the December 2023 meeting until today, and so we're going to table the approval of minutes until next month's meeting. And we'll all have a chance to review them. Are there any requests for additions or deletions to tonight's agenda?
No.
Everybody's okay, all right. Public input, there are no members of the public present, so we'll skip public input.
I didn't receive any emails or anything, right?
No, I did not receive any emails from any of the public.
Okay.
So I thought we should hold a discussion amongst our members about any kind of alternative ideas that we could come up with for the house at 540 Charles Bancroft Highway, which has been, an application has been made for demolition of this property. Some of the members had an opportunity to go up and go through the house and get an idea of the condition of the house, et cetera, and see how, you know, if we could come up with some ideas. I did not personally think that the house seemed to be in such horrible condition, but the owner, the developer, feels that there are too many liabilities about renting it out as is due to possible lead paint contamination, et cetera. So, and in the final analysis, it's his decision, but we need to come up with some ideas that, you know, could possibly work. So, does anybody have any input into that discussion?
Is it premature to have that discussion because the planning board hasn't really ruled yet on whether his plan can go forward as it's altered and so forth yet? I don't believe.
No,
I didn't watch all of the thing from the other night.
I watched it and they did not, no, I don't think he even presented a plan, a new site plan yet. He was
Right.
talking about what he
He's coming
wanted
back
to
with
do.
the plan.
He wants to put another small building to take the place of the two condos that were supposed to be in 540, Charles Bancroft. He mentioned,
That small building would house a couple of condos?
I believe he wants to
Yes.
add 2 additional condos
Yes.
that he said he was gonna provide pictures of that everybody would just love. And, he's gonna have some sort of a small barn building that will serve as like an office and maybe a function room of some kind for the residents, because I believe when he originally put the plan in, it was slated to be condominiums. Now he came forward and said it will be all rental, so of course he probably would need a rental
And the
office.
old farmhouse couldn't serve that purpose instead of building a barn?
Well, there's an idea.
Yeah, he mentioned constructing a barn that looked similar to the barn that was removed, and it would house possibly a function hall, the mail room, so they'd all receive their mail there.
Their packages, right, their big
Packages,
package
yeah.
drop-off
Yeah.
spot, et cetera, yeah.
And something that'll give it another focal point other than,
Yeah, so there's an idea, number one, for,
and he said there'd still be 62 units. Mentioned that lenders are not lending money for condos,
right,
so that's why the selection is to be rentals, and then possibly at some later time they can.
Right,
Did
and
he have
that-
his financing in order before now?
well,
He didn't have his financing in order before now?
I'm sure he did, I'm not really too sure.
it was corroborated by somebody on the planning board who deals with mortgage loans and so forth, and said that,
But this has been going on for like 2 years.
I realize that, I'm just saying what they said, that,
My sense of the discussion was that he was saying that it's difficult to get a loan. I don't think he said it was impossible.
right,
Well, Maybe it's difficult for people to get mortgages to get condos. Would
Yes.
that be, that's what he
That
Yeah,
could
that's what he
maybe
meant,
what he's
right.
talking about.
But I think that, I have no idea how the planning board operates as far as whether or not, whether they'd be more likely to give permission for a project that's going to be rentals as opposed to condominiums. I mean, it seems to me that the impact on the town is gonna be significant for rentals, as far as turnover.
More
I mean,
than
more than
condominiums.
condos, and that's the way I think about it, but, I don't think you have the people staying long, and it depends on the price point of the
Right.
rentals, because sometimes people are forced into taking something that they really can't afford, then they end up moving out, and kids are in and out of school and so forth, so and I think the bigger of the main condos they're gonna be 3 bedrooms. So I don't wanna hear really the excuse that, oh, hardly anybody will move in with children. People aren't gonna rent a 3-bedroom house and not have children, I mean, why would they need all that space?
Right.
And pay all that money for a rental of a 3-bedroom. I mean, my opinion, but I'm not on the planning board. So I don't really know if that enters into their, decision-making process on permission to do a project or not.
Again, I think, at least my sense, having watched all the planning board meetings for many months, is that at the recent one, I felt the planning board was saying, you'll come back with an addendum or an adjustment, a plan.
To be looked at.
Absolutely.
To be
And
looked at,
then,
yeah.
once that's done, if the planning board goes along with that, then he will have to reapply for demolition.
Right,
Right.
Then we will have to come up with our plan of what could be done and have a meeting open to the public.
Here
right.
we already know the answer to the first question.
Right,
So,
exactly. So it's rather premature to think about what to do with the house
Right.
when we haven't had the
Yeah.
hearing, and we
Yeah.
don't know
Well, I
what.
just thought we should be pre-armed.
Wouldn't hurt to start thinking about it.
Yeah, that's
No,
kind of
but
the way I
so
felt
we
about
have
it.
an idea there.
Yeah, I know you're being proactive. I didn't mean that you weren't, but.
No, because I understand what you're saying, but, and I didn't get the impression from watching that last planning board meeting that everybody on the planning board was in favor of granting this approval, but I didn't get the impression that it wouldn't pass. And is that what you meant? That it'll pass?
Probably.
Yeah, that's how I felt. I mean, I think it would.
That's a fair assessment.
So I thought that there are people who I felt were kind of on the same wavelength that we were, but not everybody.
Well,
So-
I think folks in general felt, and I certainly said so on the record, that it was a surprise that all along, back in the spring of '22, at every meeting, the meetings opened with, there'll be 66 condos.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
at that time, they didn't even talk about rentals, they talked about condos for sale, and that the Corning House would be turned into a 2-family unit. So I think from a longtime resident, my angst came from the fact that, gee, we've got a different story here, and now we
Yeah.
need to have some clarification.
Yeah, the house has been there the whole time.
Right,
Just now,
exactly.
we're deciding that we can't reuse it. I mean, I'm not
I
saying,
agree with you, Carl.
I'm not saying anything underhanded is going on here, but this does not have a good look.
No, I agree.
We had a
That's my
plan,
point,
and the
Carl.
plan should be stuck to, I think.
I agree. I think we're all in the same,
And I think it's an opportunity for the planning board to make a statement to developers who come in with these ideas of, well, we'll buy this property and we'll make it all sound great, and then in the end, we'll tear down the old house or barn or whatever it is anyway. And,
we'll have our
you can't do that.
approval and nobody can do anything
Right.
about it.
You have to be upfront from the start, or it's not gonna change the plan.
Right,
It sort of sets the tone for future developers. If you don't have to adhere to the plan, then you don't have to worry about the
Right.
details.
but if I were a developer who might be trying in the future to get another development in town, I certainly would be trying to stick with what I
What
said
the
I was
original
gonna
proposal
do.
was, right.
But I'm not, so,
And, honestly, it sounds like what we said, that, if you're gonna build a barn to house this, that, and the other, what's wrong with using the big house for that?
yeah, that's true. And I think another mention that you made, I think, Stephen, it was you that said, why wouldn't it? I mean, without even having to use the upstairs, why couldn't you use it as like a senior center type place.
Sure, yeah.
And if-
Well, right, you know, the house is in good enough shape that it isn't necessarily decorated to my particular taste, and probably not yours either, but that doesn't mean the house isn't structurally sound.
Right,
You can, it's a blank canvas, you can
Right.
do it, I mean, so, let me get this straight, it's gonna be less expensive to tear it down and build up a new structure to do something else instead of just reusing a solid
And
structure.
you know, the lead paint thing really doesn't hold
Oh,
water,
yeah,
because
and-
we had that at the library, when I was a library trustee, and we built the children's room downstairs. And because it was known that it had been painted with lead paint, we had to have lead mitigation, which is no more than them coming in and repainting, sealing the room. That's all it is.
Yeah, that's,
You're not in there
we do
blasting
permits
out the
in
old paint or
Manchester all the
anything, right?
time, yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, sometimes it's removal, but a lot of times it's encapsulation.
right, and he said that he thinks that the paint there has been encapsulated, but he doesn't trust that because he's too worried about litigation if somebody
Yeah.
comes
People
in.
who contest.
And I said, well, you know, not every kid is gonna chew on paint.
Windowsills. or
And he said, oh,
something,
it's
right?
not just that, if it gets abraded and dust from the paint comes in the air, then they could get lead poisoning. Or they could come and live in that house and already have it from some
And
other
then blame it
scene
on-
and then blame it on him. So
Well,
he's
there's
thinking,
lots of possibilities with everything.
I mean, you know,
That's, yeah.
it's like,
It's
it's
life.
like you said,
It's,
I mean, a plane could fly over the school and an engine could drop too,
Yeah,
but that
yeah.
doesn't
We
mean
have
it's
to get hit
gonna
by a
happen.
meteor,
Yeah.
Right.
you know?
You know, so I mean, every bad scenario isn't necessarily gonna happen.
But there are many, many possibilities for that house, because it just isn't in horrible condition.
I don't think so.
No, it was solid.
I really and truly,
That house requires much less restoration than my house did when I took it over.
Yeah.
And, you know, the floors were even, and nothing had settled in any particularly odd way. Everything was quite solid.
made me feel kind of bad about my 1760 house, that if I ever sold it, somebody would walk in there and be horrified and just tear it
Oh,
down,
yeah,
and
we're gonna tear this down.
we have to tear this down immediately. I mean, I thought, wow, that's,
All the features that make it charming.
yeah, that make it an old
Dangerous.
colonial,
Dangerous.
and one of the oldest structures in town, one of the old colonial homes.
Yeah.
You know, just has
And
no
it
value.
is a very early structure. I have been doing research on it. And I came across some interesting information that, I don't know how many people remember who Melvin Watts was, but he was the longtime curator of the Currier Museum. And he lived in Londonderry, and he lived on one of the old Watts homesteads in Londonderry, and they were one of the founding families of the town. And he told the story, and he was directly descended from the Cornings as well as the Watts. And he related the story that the Wattses in Londonderry, their original land, extended from the Mammoth Road to the Merrimack River. And when a Watts-Corning marriage took place, the Wattses granted the right for the road that is there now to be put in. And
For
it was
the Corning, what we call
a
Corning Road.
Corning Road, and it was a private road.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, over the years and much usage, it became a public road. And additionally, on the property, where Melvin's Brook, which is the brook that runs under the highway up at Pine Creek 55 community, when you
Oh,
get
yeah.
down toward that house, it comes in very close, because across where Woodland Drive is, off of Corning Road, that's not very deep. It's, you know, a few acres deep. And then there's a great cliff, and you look down and there's this cascading water going through. And on that brook, there was a grist mill, and the stones are still in the brook, and also a sawmill. And that was all operated by the Cornings.
Okay.
And what year did the Cornings buy from the Watts?
Well, the Cornings didn't buy from the Watts.
Or Ting, Mr.
Was a
Ting?
marriage?
Mr. Ting? Ting,
Colonel Ting
Ting, right.
owned the property first. It was
Right.
it was part of Passaconaway's land. And after Passaconaway was gone, then the land got divvied up. Somehow it got granted to Colonel Ting from Massachusetts. And he eventually sold part of that property to Captain Samuel Cochran. And Cochran owned it from Ting in the early 1700s. Then one of the Cornings married Cochran's daughter. And that's how that property came to become the Corning property. I imagine that the Corning, I believe his first name was Samuel, who married the Cochran girl, bought it from his father-in-law.
And just as you were related to the Bixby house, I'm related
Oh,
to the
yes.
Corning
Yeah,
house.
Gail is related to the Corning house. One of her your grandmother's mother was born there.
And you found a picture of the Corning family standing outside of what people sometimes have said is an addition on the back, but it was there originally. It's right there in a picture of all these folks standing outdoors the way they used to take family photos. And it's interesting.
It didn't look like that when we were growing up. It just looked like sort of part of an L or something.
Well,
Yeah.
they called
There-
it a summer kitchen in
Yeah.
those
Right,
days, because
exactly.
we had a summer
Yeah.
kitchen at Century Farm.
Because I remember going into that house with my mother, and that would have been prior to 1960. And you parked up that way, and the cows were over north of the house. And you went in the door there to go into the kitchen, and it was long and narrow. And Mrs. Randall lived there then, and she would be in there making donuts and things. And buying Avon from my mother. That's my my mother was the Avon lady back in the day.
I also want to say that when the three of us went in and toured, I spent quite a bit of time chatting while you two were upstairs with Mr. Moreau, who was very pleasant, very accommodating, and I told him, I said, folks around town are saying that the place is loaded with asbestos, and that it's not sound, and that the state is making you put in the sidewalk. And he said, no, Gail, he said, I'm doing the sidewalk because I want to build the sidewalk, understanding that the town will then, of course, maintain it. And he said, the popcorn ceilings in the front two rooms are the rooms where I think probably had, and your father would know, some sort of
Blown in asbestos.
right, into the popcorn to put
To
on the
make
ceiling.
it stand up.
Right, right. And he didn't seem at all alarmed.
Well, it had all been taken down.
Yeah, he had all the
Yeah, that was all-
asbestos
he had
removed.
an asbestos abatement done already. And so all those ceilings were taken
So
down.
that explains why the ceilings look the way they do.
Yes.
Okay.
And then
Yes.
upstairs, Carl, there were still a couple of ceilings there, but they were just regular swirl
Flat
plaster, they
plaster.
weren't popcorn.
Oh, you got pictures?
Yeah,
Oh,
this is part of my show and tell. So this
Oh,
looks like
okay.
drywall.
yeah. That's the part of the,
That's the old.
see that,
Yeah, yeah.
they added that bay window and they updated that.
Is that current? These pictures are current?
Yeah, a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, there was
Oh,
a
I didn't know that you
door.
got them, did
Uh-huh.
you?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
So it looks like they started working on it then, obviously, huh?
No, this was the family that was there, I
Oh,
believe, right?
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think Darlene's husband was working on it when they sold it.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Okay, oh, I didn't realize you'd gotten the pictures, that's great.
Yeah, and there's the, what would have been the old kitchen.
Yeah, so I put the camera on this counter,
Mhm.
both sides.
Yep,
So yeah, that's that room.
mhm.
Right.
Really dark back then, huh?
Well,
Yeah,
that is
the
all,
light.
that's
Well-
what, they redid that whole kitchen area.
And he had, her husband had taken from the old barns that were out there. He'd
Barn
cut
boards.
barn boards, and that's what he made the cupboards out of, and it was very, very dark.
So
Yeah, it was.
This doesn't look bad at all.
No, it's very,
Honestly,
it's a
I've
very
lived,
solid house.
the floors are beautiful, I've lived in,
Yeah.
I've lived in quite a few places that weren't quite
And
as
the
nice as
reason the
that house.
ceilings are like that is because they were taken down because of
Yeah.
asbestos abatement. Now, the front hall was kind of a disaster in terms of what was done to it.
But not but that's the original shape of the steps and so
But a brick floor
forth.
had been put down.
Yeah, they put
Yeah,
that brick
yeah,
floor, I don't
yeah.
know why they did
It
that.
doesn't make sense, but anyway, it was
Green
done.
sharing carpet.
Well, maybe because of the,
I
Yeah,
don't know,
looks more like astroturf.
I think it was more like indoor, outdoor, yeah, I think so.
Yeah. He practices putting down the stairs.
Yeah, maybe so.
But a nice early staircase.
Yep, that is a nice stair.
And
Yeah.
some of the floors have those square nails.
Yeah, the
Oh,
floors
yeah,
are
yeah,
original,
yeah,
the
yeah.
floors are beautiful
And
floors.
that cupboard that's right next to the fireplace, there was something that I had talked to Reggie about.
Okay.
And I said, well, you know, I have a question as to whether that's an original cupboard. I said, but if it is, and it was, because, you know, he's talking, everything's gonna be demolished and lost. So if you wanted it, well, it's not a problem, that could be popped out, and you could have it. So then, I did check that on that Saturday morning before I was injured, and it is not original. The cupboard itself is, but I think when Mrs. Dublois moved in, Darlene's mother, she had what would have been just a regular raised panel door on that, taken out in that little section,
Glass,
so she
but
could
yeah.
put some dishes in there. And then the hearth on the fireplace
Yeah,
next
that's
to
not,
that,
that's wrong.
for some reason, Darlene's husband was a stonemason, and for some reason, he raised it
Raised that up.
like that.
Yeah,
which
that's
I
a
don't,
weird
doesn't
detail.
make any sense,
It
but that's what he
doesn't, no.
did.
That's a really weird detail.
Right,
It is,
it's a very
but,
weird
but
detail.
look at the mantelpiece and the old woodworking in
right,
that, how nice
right.
that is.
Lovely
Yeah,
mantel,
it's not bad.
yeah.
Mhm.
And here's
That's
the-
upstairs.
That was- Is that the upstairs?
Upstairs?
No, that was the master downstairs, I think.
Yeah,
It's got a peaked roof, so
yeah, I'm not sure.
No, I think
What's
it's,
this on?
I think it's in that addition, like, you know,
I
that
didn't
little.
think the downstairs bathroom was finished, or was it the
No,
upstairs
it
that
was,
wasn't
that,
finished?
the upstairs, that's not the upstairs, I looked in the
Okay. Oh, you
downstairs.
know what? I
Cause it's
remember
got
that
a stall
shower,
shower,
yeah.
it's
I
got the
remember.
whirlpool tub
Yep.
with a soaking
Okay.
tub.
Yep.
But it's in that summer kitchen area, so
Yeah.
it's only one
Okay.
story there.
Yeah.
Cause then the stairs going up are, you know,
To
the
the
little
attic.
front hall are, are next to it.
Okay.
The ones
So
going up to the,
Here's the back stair.
right, the back
Yeah.
stairs are right
Which-
next to
which
that
the old
bathroom.
house has always had a back
Oh,
stair.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
mine's got one.
And where that
I had
sort of
one, Brian
octagonal
took it
window
out.
was that we just got a little glimpse of,
Mhm.
Carl, there had originally been a door there
Oh.
that faced Charles Bancroft Highway.
Yep.
And that's how you went into that L in the old days.
Mm-hmm,
Well, right, I mean, there's a couple steps up,
Yeah.
but yeah. And now we're upstairs.
yeah,
That's to the attic.
right. Now, see, that floor was, I think there were rugs there or something that they
Yeah,
pulled up.
they
That
pulled
would
up.
make sense.
Right.
Yeah.
And that floor, you know, it hasn't been like, you know, repolished, but it's, I think most of it's the original boards, I think.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Which
Original
certainly
floor.
could be used.
And this is the attic.
Yeah,
That I did not go to. God, Stephen, you were brave.
Mm.
I think, yeah, here we go, here's the other side of the chimney.
okay, so right there, those boards that are lying here, and you can see some old wallpaper on them.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, those,
right,
yeah.
right.
Those are the old vertical boards as
Okay.
part of what we said
Oh, yeah, I
we'd
see
like to
those,
have
those
for
are
the
nice,
Historical
yeah.
Society. And the cupboard was right over here, Carl, if you just go back a little bit, right there next to that window. That's the
Oh.
window that faces the river, correct?
Yep, that's
It was right next to it.
Okay, all right, so then you,
There's a fan.
So the thing that was deceptive about the attic, and it never even dawned on me as I was walking across there, was that it had blown in insulation.
Mhm.
And you had no clue that there was not some sort of subflooring.
Yeah, I almost fell through.
Yeah, above the ceilings below,
Yep.
which
right
you'd
around
normally
here.
see in an old house, and it doesn't really make sense that there isn't, because
and is
every
that where
bit of
you
heat.
hit right there?
Yeah, the big center
Oh,
fireplace.
okay.
So every bit of heat in those bedrooms would have gone right up through the ceiling, because there was no flooring up above.
I don't
When
have it
we-
either.
When we moved back
To
to
your
our
house.
house like 16 years ago or whatever.
Yeah,
Not a shred of insulation between the second floor and the attic.
yeah,
So we had insulation
Yeah.
blown in, that made a huge difference.
That's
Yeah.
what we have in
I don't have anything
323
in
is,
my house,
is,
but my house is a very warm house, very low ceilinged,
Mhm.
small
Mine
roomed,
is. But I think Brian put that vermiculite or something in there.
over at
between
your
it.
other house,
Mhm.
yeah.
So there's something, but
Yeah.
there's still not all the boards.
let's see, where are we? I think
Is that the,
that faces the river, if I'm not mistaken. No,
Yeah.
Where's that fireplace?
Yeah,
No, this is the front. I think this is the front. Because downstairs, that cupboard would be right here.
yes, yes.
Okay.
You can see why the fire department said that it's structurally sound.
Yeah.
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 So here's that upper stair.
Mm-hmm,
Hallway.
very typical. Yep, that's the front toward Charles Bancroft.
Okay, so that's, see where I came through the ceiling?
Oh, yeah,
Almost
right
got out of
there.
almost got out of the frame in time. Yeah, that's.
Right there.
Is there a leg hanging?
Well, there was more than a leg
Well, no, when I
hanging.
hit the button, I got like 4 seconds to move, and I just didn't get out of
Oh.
the picture.
No, but
No,
we're
see.
above the fireplace is where that.
Right, yeah.
Not
We
too
could go up
bad.
and restage it, Carl, if you wanted to.
Please don't.
Then this is also.
But
That's that
No,
kitchen
this
that
is
they
the
put
kitchen.
in.
Yeah.
This is the kitchen.
So they
Yeah,
used
because
it
that
as
was
like a
rented out.
duplex
That little
then.
unit upstairs was rented out. There was an apartment up there.
And that's why they put that deck
Yeah.
on the back.
Was for that,
Oh,
for the
yeah,
person in the
that's right.
apartment to come in and out without going through the main house.
That might be it.
That was good though, thank
Oh,
you.
wait, one more.
Because I honestly didn't know that you'd done it.
Yeah.
You went up that weekend.
And see the nice woodwork cut out along the stair
Yeah.
rises?
Mhm. Yeah,
You see that in quite a few houses in town. That's a fancy little feature.
Mhm. So, yeah.
yeah. Now you're
Yeah,
back to the
then you're
kitchen.
Back to the start.
Yeah.
Very good.
Wait, how much more is there?
Good job, Carl.
Oh, thanks. That 360 camera I have is awesome. All right, this is the beginning.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So then I flew my drone.
I
Oh,
was gonna ask you if you had any drone pictures.
Yeah, I got a bunch of drone pictures.
Okay.
And I was able to
Oh,
do
wow. Awesome.
I took enough, I was able to do, come on. Thought I left this open. I don't know why it's taking so long. Here we go.
Now, you also, Carl, prior to the barns being taken down, you went up and photographed them,
Mhm.
as I recall.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay, so now.
okay. Oh, wow. Stephen, that was the shot we wanted.
Okay, it's not letting me do this. And here we go. So I was able to get a 3D model.
Wow,
Very good.
that is great. Wow, look at that chimney.
Yes, we can. And there's also the individual photos that made this up too.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I see, you put them all together to make the 3D one?
It's software that does it.
Wow,
it-
that is great.
You go up above, back and forth a bunch of times.
Mm-hmm.
And then I did like 3 passes around the house at different levels.
Mm-hmm.
And then the software takes all the images, it can figure out exactly where everything is with GPS, and it stitches together
That's
the
amazing.
whole thing.
And Stephen, that chimney, see how it is? Is that the different flues for the
Yeah,
different
divided flues.
fireplaces?
That's
Oh,
how,
that's
that's how
neat.
mine is. There's one
Yeah.
chimney that
Oh.
has 3 different
Right.
flues.
I never
2
knew, I never
downstairs.
knew that, because I never saw
Mhm.
one from above.
And there's an abandoned fireplace on the 2nd floor
Uh-huh,
that you can tell, because when we took the carpet up, someone took out the hearthstone and filled with wood.
mm-hmm,
I'm like, I could open this up and make it a really nice feature, but something tells me they might have covered this up for a reason. So I think I'll just
Yeah.
leave it.
right, yeah, there's probably a reason.
Just get a lot of water and snow down that. That's not covered, right? That's wide open?
Oh, well, yeah, this is wide open.
Yeah,
Mine was, but I put chimney liners in
Yep.
because I had a
Mhm.
wood stove. So
Cap.
on mine, the bricks didn't go quite all the way up to the top.
right,
So I ran a chimney liner through a piece of sheet metal, attached the sheet metal to the chimney to keep the water out. So we go to light the wood stove for the first time. And so this is the first time there's actually been heat in the chimney flue for maybe 80 to 100 years.
oh boy.
It heats up the air, The moisture in there turns to steam,
Mhm.
it goes up, you
Mhm.
can't exit because I put the sheet
Draft,
metal on
yeah.
it, comes down the other side, and we're freaking out because there's smoke coming out of the other
Right.
fireplace on the other
You
side.
got a smoker.
Right. So I got some rock wool bats and I stuffed it in there so it wouldn't do that.
So
Yes, but-
here is a picture, Carl, of the house, looking up from about where Brian Smith's old house is.
Okay.
And you can see that the road goes on either side of the house.
Mhm. I picture that every time I drive by, trying
right.
to imagine what it must
Yep.
have been like.
And this is not the original front door either. This is like a double door that they had replaced, put in probably 1880
Oh, yeah,
or
that
so.
was popular.
Yeah, that was popular too. People were always updating their properties. Very few. Anyone
Right.
who had any money was always updating. So the best preserved houses generally were in poor hands. They didn't
Right.
have the money to update.
Like my house has that little portico, that little porch roof in the front, and you said that wouldn't have been original.
Right, right.
But that's
So,
beautiful.
This is what I brought for show and tell.
You did
Very good.
excellently well,
Thank you.
thank you so much. I had no idea that you made it up there that weekend.
Yeah, I think it was the day after you guys were there.
Mhm.
Okay, so it's still unlocked. It's locked now.
Yeah.
Because we went last week or two, I don't know,
Yeah.
10 days ago to try to get pictures and it was
We
locked.
decided we'd do the pictures, but it was locked up.
Yeah. Wow, that is very impressive, I love that.
Yeah, this is something I want to do more of. Because with construction sites like this,
Mm-hmm,
Yeah,
you can do weekly, like if the developer's from
Mhm.
California or something and he wants to see progress, you go up weekly,
Mhm.
put these point cloud models together, and you can upload them
I'm so
onto the
sorry.
website,
Sorry,
and
don't mean to do that.
the owner can see exactly what's going on.
right,
And
right.
then that 360-degree camera, it
Yeah,
also
that is
takes
neat.
360-degree video.
yeah.
So you can walk around the inside of the house, you can stop the video at any time and spin it around.
Yeah.
Now, when Reggie was at the planning board, he was saying that he's given the easement to the state for the roadway, but it goes right up to the house. So how, I don't understand that, did you hear that?
Well-
Well, turning lane, right?
Is
I know,
what?
but that's a lot bigger looking
Yeah.
than I thought it was from his description
Well,
of it,
that,
but,
that's what Darlene, just a couple of years ago, had a dispute with the state over.
Mhm.
The state came in and they proposed doing something there, and she said, this is my property. And they said, oh, no, we own so many feet back. She said, no, you
Yeah,
don't.
they can do eminent domain.
Well, they can,
Right.
but
Well, no, they couldn't, because her deed, they own both sides of the road, and that wasn't the old road where they came through, and so she was correct, and they were wrong.
oh, okay.
So what do you think that is from the road right now? 15 feet, 20 feet?
Probably.
Where are we measuring? This can measure.
like
From the
from,
house to Charles Bancroft.
House to the center line.
Center line, all right, let me find, where is that? There should be,
well, that is impressive stuff.
Melvin Watts' comments, of
course, he's 50 years
ago. He said there was still.
Right underneath the plus and minus, it says something 10 meter, 30 feet.
Except that it was interesting that, Frank Horning and Rosetta.
I know for a fact, because the big selling point on this is it's accurate within centimeter.
Well, what's the 10,
Right.
10 meters,
I
30
remember
feet
what
underneath
That's just
that?
the scale.
talking about.
Oh, that's the scale,
It's on
okay.
top
Yes.
of the
And
tools.
Rosetta's.
Yeah, I just looked at that.
Yes.
Shipped around to
Yes,
Frankfurt.
right.
And
You
so,
can always Google search it, but
previous
it doesn't look like
generation.
much, so if they were to
But
widen
what's
it
he
for
talking about
turning-
with this sidewalk, the, where's this sidewalk
We
going?
have a set of.
I'm not sure where it's.
See, if he gave them 15 feet and he still planned to do a sidewalk, then he never planned to keep the house. That's my point.
I think this, yeah, I'm not sure where the sidewalk would be there. The sidewalk, the impression I got, the sidewalk would be over at, on the conservation on the other side of the fence.
She was from Bedford, but the Darrahs.
Oh, okay, like, so he'd have it go in front of his houses there,
Yeah, or
okay.
probably like on his road.
Yeah, not right on the highway,
Not
okay,
right on the
got
road,
you,
yeah.
got you. That makes sense,
So it'll
really.
probably go around like
Yep.
the development and then connect to the sidewalk that goes down.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Wow, that's really, really neat.
Yeah, they discovered,
Oh, here we go.
where the sidewalk was gonna go at the planning board, I think.
Is it gonna be inside the,
No, it's gonna go right along the route, Charles Bancroft.
Oh, is that what they said?
And
Okay.
then it's gonna cross, just south of where Rick's
37.9
driveway is into that, where, Craig
Doesn't state
had
usually
his
have-
barn
Yeah,
and,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
right,
So
And then
you
go
can
down
walk
the
to the new
other
gas
side.
station?
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
yeah.
So did you see that it's 37 feet, Stephen?
37 feet?
That's more than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
From
Me
the center
too.
line.
From the center line to the,
Uh-huh.
Well, from from here to about
well, that's
where
the more
wall
narrow
is.
part, yeah.
Yeah, so that's, 37. And then,
I thought roads are,
Well, I don't think they
25
can
feet
always
from
have
center line.
25 feet.
yeah, they're often 50.
They couldn't have
yeah,
50,
50 feet wide, but it's 25 feet from the center line is the right of way.
I don't
See,
think they could
I
have
think
that
in
with my
Some of
house.
these old places that have not been sold, for example, my house,
Oh, what am I doing?
Oh,
they,
God,
they'd
sorry.
have a problem proving it
Yeah.
and saying it was theirs because that's not what the deed says.
Like my house.
Yeah,
I mean, my house,
Yeah,
they would be
right.
in, they'd be in the kitchen
yeah,
of my old
Make it a
house.
drive-through.
yeah.
Of my old house, they'd be in the kitchen if they went 25 feet. Oh, my.
Where is that?
Well, that's pretty impressive software.
Yep, very good job, Carl.
Like them.
That was interesting.
That's not what I'm looking for.
The,
Well, that'll tell you the property.
so is it possible for you to put like a,
Right, what is that? Oh, wait a minute, is that what this is?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
maybe this is the right one. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
what'd you say?
You're on it.
so that we could have in like an archive file somewhere like these? And the pictures of the, so each property that we deal with, we could have all the, the pictures in a file
Good
somewhere.
idea.
Yeah.
Because we don't even have, we don't have a place to store actual pictures.
Yeah.
Isn't it doing anything?
No, but we could digitally store it.
Yeah, we could digitally
Yes.
store them, and that would really make better
Yeah.
sense
Yeah.
for the future.
And you did the Bixby property, Carl, didn't you? Isn't that where you lost your drone? Down at Wilson's?
Yeah, and I found it, by the way.
I know
You did?
Oh, yeah.
Fell
found
out
it.
of the trees.
It broke, and I got the spare part, and they fixed it.
Good.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm shocked.
But because of that tree, I couldn't get as many photos. So I can try to piece together
Okay.
something, but
Okay.
it probably isn't gonna work the same.
And I took a lot of photos, just interior,
Inside.
exterior, just with my phone.
Mm-hmm.
It's not far enough.
But the construction
Oh,
of that
look at
house
that.
and the period of the house is
Oh,
very
yes.
similar to the main farm at McQuestion's.
Right, there you
That's a
are.
very similar building,
Yeah, it is, yeah.
yeah.
So, yeah, the line is right up against the house.
Oh, that's with their road, I see. Mm-hmm. Hmm,
I don't want that.
Be like
well, don't go down to my house, I can't bear it.
Barlow's.
I know, house, it's right on the house. I don't know how they ever sold that.
Just a simple measure tool is all I'm looking for, I can't find it. It's not here.
Measure.
Measure, oh, okay, there it is, all right.
He's got patience, I don't have that much patience.
I know.
I could barely open my emails.
60, 65, 66 feet, yeah.
That's a lot more than 50 is what you said
Yeah,
originally.
I'm used to saying 50, but
Maybe because it's highway.
I don't know, I don't wanna know about mine. That's scary.
so it's- come on. Down here.
Is that you?
Yeah.
Too many clicks.
Now, it was also noted, when we were there on that Friday, Reggie was telling us that the field that is down, that runs right along the river at the property, that's not in development.
But
And that is being farmed right now by Elver, where they're growing corn to use for silage for their cattle. However, that's ground zero for PFOAs.
I know.
I said to them, they're feeding that to their cattle, because that's what happened in Maine, where they had to slaughter all these
50 feet,
herds.
all right, go up to my house
And,
then.
because the milk was contaminated.
I remember
in some
that,
of the cows.
Stephen.
But in Maine, they weren't, they were buying sludge. They
Right,
were buying
Here's
tomorrow,
around here, right?
and it happened that the sludge was contaminated, and they were putting it on
323.
fertilized fields.
Oh,
And it became
That's
incorporated into
Tom's
that,
house.
so it got into the hay,
Yeah,
the
who?
cattle eating the
Tom
hay and
Lewis.
so forth.
oh, that's so
Not
further
Tom
down,
Lebeck, Tom
yeah,
Lebeck,
further
sorry.
down.
Yeah. So.
There's McQuestion's with all the greenhouses.
It's this one, right? Or-
Yeah, but that's not, it's the little one I wanna know about, 15-12,
so
up the road on the right, right there, down, across from the pool, right there.
This one?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, this one, okay. What are you looking for, the distance?
we'll see how close it is to the road.
Yeah, it's different again.
10 feet.
I know, that's about it, I'm telling you, it's not
Take
much,
wages.
it's not much.
14.
14.
Wow.
Isn't bad.
Man.
How close am I, Carl? 168.
Gotta go south. I got plenty of room at my house
you're way
compared to
out.
that, yeah.
By Wilson's.
You're back a little ways, aren't you?
More than Marion's, but I'm still pretty close to the road.
Coming.
Yeah, you'll be right.
That's right here, right? Yeah, here it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's this little garage right there. God, this is amazing.
20?
21, oh my God. Steve.
20, 21, whatever it takes.
I've got 7 feet on you, Jody.
You do, damn.
All right, who's next?
Gail's far, far
I know, you're
away,
way
she's
here.
good.
700
But you know,
foot
but these
driveway.
early
Right.
houses, when they were built, they wanted them
Yeah,
right
they
on the
wanted
edge
them
of
right
the
on the
road,
edge
so
of the road, 'cause they
they
don't-
didn't have to worry about winter
Yeah,
breaking the stuff.
shoveling and, yeah, exactly, so. Well, that is very, very good
Yeah, this is
presentation.
Cool stuff.
Very cool, thank you.
Yeah, it is very good.
One thing I'm disappointed with is, if you look, underneath it is like Google Earth,
Yeah,
and then this is the GPS-enabled photos that I took.
Mm-hmm,
That's an awful
Yeah,
big
That's a
error.
large
Oh, yeah, that's a
discrepancy.
big-
That's a
yeah.
big discrepancy. It's much better here.
mm-hmm.
If I had the.
Oh, I see, you set it like on top of it, Google Earth, then
Right.
they should be matching up,
Yeah, they should be matching up better than that.
right?
If I had a way to get like rock-solid ground control points, which you can put in the software, then,
Yeah,
but it was only relying on the GPS and the drone, so.
mm-hmm,
Who knows, maybe Google Maps is wrong.
yeah.
oh, could be. Wow, that's,
Okay.
but it's pretty darn close. So I think we got some good,
Yes, that was
Ideas
interesting.
about-
Yeah, to think about.
and some things to think about as far, and I don't think we need to discuss the public hearing yet until we
No,
figure out when
till we
the
know if there's gonna
planning
be
board
one.
is, yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So the next item that we wanted, the annual report, Carl, do you have copies of
I-
what you submitted?
I
So
can send you what
If you send me one.
I
Well,
tweak
I
it
have
every year.
last year's town report
Is it?
printed.
Yeah, but mine's a file you can edit.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
yeah,
I'll-
would you
it's
send
a
it to me?
doc
That'd be
file.
great,
Yeah,
okay.
that's-
Because it doesn't have
it's-
to be a lot, I mean.
It's not a lot.
Okay,
It
all right.
really is not.
I mean,
a
I
lot.
was thinking, we did the Bixby House last year, and we gave him authorization to give permits for, look, a lot of
Well,
places
also,
at Dark
yeah,
Hall and
we
so
have a
Also,
forth.
lot more
Doc
to say
Broad's
this
house
year.
came down.
Okay. The who?
Doc Broad's house, Farron's.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So, yeah, I think it's gonna be a little longer this
Mhm.
year, but yeah, so I can send that.
But
to
I
you.
just, to see the format and so forth, and I know she wants it in a certain font, and I think I can figure that out.
And Carl, I had a thought about putting a picture of the Bixby house, and I hadn't thought about Dr. Broad's house, in the town report, because
You
some
could.
of the town reports have black and white photos, and I think
I never even thought of it,
as we
yeah.
go through our hearings, house after house,
Mm-hmm,
it would be a very good idea to have a
Yeah,
picture of
and a
the
small
house.
picture on that page that said.
This is what we lost.
Bixby House, 1794 to 2023, demolished.
Yeah, okay.
mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's a great idea. So does anybody have any new business?
No.
Don't think-
No? Motion to adjourn?
All right, second?
Next meeting?
Okay, oh yeah, our next meeting. Next meeting, we're going to meet at the town hall on February 15th, which is the third Thursday.
Okay.
Oh,
Is that okay with everybody?
Mhm.
Good, okay. All right, and we'll talk to,
Kim Clark.
John's gonna talk to Kim Kleiner and see if that can be our day, so that we won't have to be worried about a room and so forth, and I think that would work out for everybody. Okay, so next meeting, 2:15, and we had a motion to adjourn in a second, so all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, 5-0-0.
It's over, John.
Thank you.
Steve,
was-
wanted to
I
say
love
to
that.
you,
That was awesome.
because we probably will
Damn.
decide this meeting.
I have a drone, but I don't know how to
But
do anything.
today,